So what's going on, everybody? This is Serenity Photos, Ryan Barr, and today I'm actually going to be doing an awesome tutorial on how I edit my photos. This particular photo shoot was amazing, one of my favorites. This specific shot right here is really cool. So this is the raw file straight from camera, right here. See before, after. I did hit reset, that is right. Alright, so from the whole time was actually from camera. See, there's no change. Alright, so with that being said, let's get right into it. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. So what I love about this image is the softness. It's sharp, but it's also soft. Love her hair, eyes, just her expression is just awesome. Looks so genuine. Doesn't look fake with like a fake smile or anything. I love her outfit. I love this rosy like dress, the opening. The only thing I don't like about the photo is all these twigs and stuff like that. You could clone it out, but I really don't feel like doing that. Yes, I'm a little lazy, but also haven't had any complaints about this particular photo. Had nothing but compliments. I love it. Alright, so I usually just go down the list with things. I don't do everything, but I do go down the list. So to me, looking at this photo right now, it looks a little bit cold, so I'm going to go to temperature. And then you could go like this, but I'm going to reset by double clicking. I like to just click on it, put my finger right on the arrow key, and just simply go until I'm satisfied. That's a little too warm. It's a little bit still too warm, because you always want to watch for the skin tones. So it's at 55, 50. So if I were to go up a little more, it starts to make her like really yellow, like 6300. And right here it's still kind of cold, but see, this would work, but right there, it's just, to me, looks perfect. With the tint, I'm not going to mess with the tint at all. This looks great. So this is before, after. Just that little bit of warmthness really just makes the photo. As you can see, it also does stuff to the leaves. So overall, I like it. Alright, so the exposure. I always check exposure by going up and by going down. Now if you're looking for that dark mystical look, you definitely can have it a little lower. To me, it you lose her hair with the background, and then when it's kind of high, you really just overexpose her skin, and then it kind of makes everything look too bright. So for the exposure, I'm going to add just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now for contrast. Contrast is pretty tricky, depends on the photo. You never want to reduce the contrast because it really washes everything out. But you also never want to give too much because it just looks nasty. So we're going to reset. And I'm going to add a little bit of contrast just to make the colors really obviously contrast against each other. Yeah, I click before and after a lot so you can kind of see. Then highlights. You don't want to add too many highlights, or too much highlights, because it'll just overexpose the skin. In fact, in a lot of cases, I get rid of highlights, but I like the way her skin's glowing in the photo, so just a little bit. So there's still some really nice white and some contrast with the natural color of her skin. It's really cool. Over here it is kind of bright, but I can fix it up in a bit. Shadows. So you can easily up the shadows, but it kind of makes the image look flat. Shadows are basically what helps with shadows basically helps with dimension in your photo, as far as I've noticed. So there we go. Right there. Now we do have her hair shining. And then with whites, you got to be really careful. Sometimes I even lower them. And with blacks, same thing. It's kind of like adding shadow. See, it just makes the image just a little bit more punchy. And speaking of punchiness, clarity. If you take the clarity down, you lose the details. If you bring it up, it just makes everything way super sharp and kind of nasty. Especially with these branches here in general. We don't want it to kind of, we don't want to add too much of it, so we're going to lower it. But I am going to add a little bit, like right there, just to bring her to life. She kind of does look like Amy Lee a little bit, bringing her to life. Anyway, vibrance, I always go in between 0 to like 5, so like 5 is good. Just a little bit of color, just a little bit. Saturation I never really touch, depends on the photograph. Alright, now down into the S curve. A lot of people, they just actually make an S or whatever. Me, I just do one by one. Highlights, you can add just a tad. Even 11's too much, maybe like 5. Just to give more of this area everywhere else. With lights, sometimes I tend to drop it, depending on the photo. Dark, bring it up just a hair. Now the shadows we're going to bring down because it adds the definition back in the areas, down here in the leaves and up here. Alright, so this is where the photograph started, and this is where it is now. Overall, at this point, it really makes the photo just look warmer, brighter, but still has that dark feel like you're actually in the woods. You know what I mean? So we have that. Alright, now down here in the HSL, color, whatever. By the way, this is actually a great black and white as well. I love it, but we'll stick with the color. Now, I like the color of the dress, but I kind of want to just up the saturation on it just a hair. Not much, just a little bit, because if you start messing with this too much, it does play with the skin. See? We don't want that. Same with this. It played with her lipstick and her eyes. We don't want that. But just adding a little bit helps. Had it at 7 before, I'm moving it back. Really just makes the lips a little bit more punchy in here. And then even with hue, you can change the color. But right where it is, to me, is perfect. Nice nails. With the greens, sometimes I will lower the saturation on the greens, just so it doesn't like overpower the image. Same with the luminance, bring it down a little. Let's see, just want to double check. I think I'm going to bring the yellows down just a little bit. That looks good. Because sometimes yellow will actually go like, depending on the light, like under the neck and just random places that isn't flattering. So that looks really good. Alright, now I'm going to hold the Alt button, and then you can keep the amount like this for now, but radius. If you look here, you can see what details it's going to bring out. So it really brings out the flowers. See? We're definitely going to want to add to like right there. Same with detail. See? Flat. Now we're going to add some definition. And then same with masking. With masking, I go up right until like the darker parts get really dark. But not really dark, but like right there. There it is. This image is almost complete for the Lightroom part. sometimes to make even things a little just like more like contrasty, I'll dehaze just a little bit. So you don't want to dehaze like crazy. You lose the detail. Sometimes I'll go below, sometimes above. So we're here, I'm actually going to add just a little bit, like 7. There we go. It just, to me, it just brings everything together. All right. Then the last thing, sometimes, like, people will tell you not to do this, but noise reduction. Now, I really don't see any noise, even shooting at 1000 ISO, that's really good. But sometimes I want that softer skin, so I can easily soften the skin up by adding a little bit. Oops. So it just basically softens it a little bit without risking your detail, without risking detail. And you always want to pay particular attention to hands and other visible skin, just to see. Now I could go in here and start removing little defects, like pimples in Lightroom. And just click here and keep clicking away. But I find that sometimes it'll make little circles go around. It didn't really, but personally it's faster in Photoshop. Alright, so I only have 2 USB ports in the front, so I'm actually gonna unplug my external hard drive. Now I'm gonna plug in my, where is it? Here we go. I want to plug in my tab, my drawing pad, my Wacom drawing pad. And we're gonna get right at this. So what we're gonna do now is, because I don't need this right now, because we're getting there. I can do everything, all the next steps I can actually do in Photoshop, but I don't know, I find it a little bit easier here. You can either use the adjustment brush or the radical filter. I'm gonna make these eyes really pop. So we're going to just draw a circle right over it. Make sure it's on invert, because if it's not, it's going to do everything outside of it. We want everything in. So now that it's in, we can easily, again, same thing that I do with temperature. I click on what I want to change, put my finger on the arrow, and go up until I feel satisfied. 57 may be a little bit too high. I'm going to do 47. Then I always add a little bit of contrast. That way it'll separate the white and the color of the eyes. It'll really make the pupils just punchy. And then for highlights, it depends on the eyes, but I like to add a little bit of highlights. Saturation, I put up a bit just to give more color. Actually, let me, zoom in. Yeah, right there. Looks a lot blurrier, doesn't it? Well, it's 3 to 1. We'll do 1 to 1. There we go. Then I add a little bit of sharpness to really just make the eye just really in focus. Then I right click, I duplicate. Obviously we're not going to keep that there, but I'm simply dragging it over here to make it consistent with the other eye. Sometimes depending on which eye has a shadow, I may reduce this so it doesn't look fake having too much light where shadows should be. But in this case her hair is here, which means that the way shadows work is obviously there's a real shadow in that spot. Click, we zoom out. Let's go back to fill, zoom in. That looks really good. Eyes are really punchy. The only thing I'm noticing is, alright, so if you ever mess up, you can just click on the one that you want to edit. I'm going to up the whites and then lower the temperature a little bit, only because like there was some kind of yellow from me warming up the photo, so it kind of warmed up the whites in her eye. So I'm going to erase that and then just simply reduplicate and put back over. Now they're actually white. Now the only thing is, it is kind of too bright now, because whenever you up the whites, it kind of adds brightness. So you can either lower the whites, or you can just lower the exposure. Being that I want to keep the whites white and not yellow, I'm simply just going to lower the exposure to like 26. That may still even be too much, but we will see in just a second. Yeah, it's still a little bit too much. Let's erase this one. What I'm going to do is simply lower the whites to around 17. This will do it. This will be perfect. You'll see. Now it's perfect. It's perfect. Now, what you can also do is, because since the eyes are brighter than the rest of the face, and it kind of stands out more, you can either brighten up the whole face. In this case, I love the brightness of it already. So what I'm going to do is go down to the lips. I'm actually going to click the adjustment brush for it. Now, here's a little tip. You can basically start drawing a bit, and then you press the O button. Whatever is red, because even though the lips are red, it doesn't matter if you do it here. See how it's red? Here's the erase button, because I don't need to add any adjustment brush here. Let me make it bigger. I'm going to just erase this, but I was just showing you that it's red if you hit O. It's basically showing you what you are doing. So let's go back to the brush, and then we're doing just over the lips. If you get a little bit off of the lips wherever you're trying to brush, simply go back to the eraser. Always play with your brush sizes so it stays within the lines. You can also hold the shift key and press, and it'll keep it within certain lines. Still a little too much. If it's a little bit out, it's not going to hurt your photo depending on what you're doing, even if you don't get the full lip or wherever. Okay, press O again so you can see. Now, the exposure is a little bit under. We'll do 10, a little bit of contrast, and then the saturation we're going to bring up right there, and then some clarity. And I'm just going to go ahead and refill in where I missed right there. Let's zoom out. That looks good. Just a little bit. That is perfect. All right, now we're going to go into Photoshop. If you ever see a YouTuber go into Photoshop by cutting, you know their stuff is pirated. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but that's what they're doing, because it's not going to allow you to do this. You right click, and then we're going to edit in. No cuts. Ooh, Photoshop. I'm going to keep flipping my hands around until it opens. Now my computer, I'll show you. See, 2018, it's loading, it's up. We're in business. But my hard drive is pretty full. I'll show you, see? But I just got a 4 terabyte hard drive because my 2 terabyte just got full. So I just picked this up yesterday. It was on sale at Best Buy for like $109. Can't beat that. Because when I bought this was like $109 like 3 years ago. So double the memory for the same price, and I have plenty of storage for now. This little guy is a 2 gig, but the thing about it is it's kind of messed up. It kind of doesn't work. See, the computer's taking so long to load stuff because of the hard drive. Anyway, this isn't working. And what can I do? Just doesn't work. All right, guys, Photoshop. It's probably gonna open up other stuff because Photoshop's weird and it kind of wants to load other things. There we go. That was from another photo session. All these are from other photo sessions. Whoa, it's going crazy. It'll open in a second. Reading camera. There it is. Okay. The photos opened up in Photoshop. Now, let's get my pen. We're going to right click, duplicate the layer. Now it's duplicated. Go ahead, zoom in. Now I'm going to go to my spot healing brush, and then it's going to draw over spots that I don't like. Excuse the lag. I should have did my hard drive transfers faster. I should have did them before I started this, but a little bit of free time, figured I'll just do this. Zoom in a little more. Okay. There we go. Just brushing away little hairs, pimples, bumps, etc. These little spots here. Okay. Right here around the top of her head. These little dark spots right there. These little uneven spots. It takes a bit. I'm going to fast forward. And by the way, I'm getting a new monitor pretty soon. The BenQ, I think it's SW something T, I forget. I don't know, it's a 2K monitor. I can't wait to get it because it has the Adobe RGB color accuracy. I bring it up because this TV actually is not even a monitor, it's a TV. It's I don't know if it's dying, but it'll brighten up and then it'll just get darker, and it's annoying. So I don't want to deal with this anymore. Just gotta wait a few more gigs and I can afford this $600 monitor. That's honestly all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just get the gear I need to give my clients what they want, produce beautiful art, and just keep it going. I already spent so much money on stuff, it's pretty ridiculous, but gotta do whatever it takes. Gotta buy whatever you need to buy. We're almost done. No, not really. Still some more to go. It's getting there though. Actually, let's see kind of like how we started. Let's zoom out and look at the face. You always want to zoom out as well just to see what really needs particular detail. See, the screen's getting darker again. It's okay though. So this is where we started. This is where we're at. Started at. Still some more stuff I can do. I noticed this here can really be played with. Some hair here by the eyes, but don't confuse flyaway hairs with eyelashes. Definitely want to get some of the little dark spots and little craters. See a little spot right there, a little spot right there. Some more uneven color on little speck right there. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but definitely get rid of the nonsense. When I say nonsense, I mean stuff that can go away naturally. You don't want to remove, like, you know, birthmarks or scars, because when people see the photo, they're going to be like, hey, you have a scar. Did you just get the scar after this picture was taken? You want it to be realistic. And then it's just it's a little stuff that goes a long way. See, there's a spot here, and then this spot here, and then here's a few of these little hairs, little dark spots there. See, like these. Don't erase these because this is part of her. I may have erased one, but it was so light. The camera doesn't pick up everything. You just keep going over stuff. See, like these, because they're so light, I'm just going to get rid of them. Sometimes it's hard to guess if they're pimples or moles or whatever. Now for stuff like this, I go ahead and then I go to the patch tool, and then I circle around, and then I basically bring the texture back. And sometimes I get carried away with the patch tool as well. So even this, just draw around. For the most part, even if you miss, you can just go right back over, bring that down. Looks good. Right there. Let's zoom out and see. Neck looks really good. Now there is a spot on her nose that I want to take away, and that's right here. So just the color of it. I'm going to bring that down. There's a line here. Let's bring that up. That looks good. Let's see. Yes, much better. We're getting there. Like, look where we started. Let's zoom back in. This looks fantastic so far. What I'm going to do, since I'm satisfied with the results so far, is I'm going to merge the layer. It's done. I don't have to worry and go back. Now, I reduplicated, well, I just duplicated another layer. Now I am going to go to these spots. Now, like I said, don't get rid of things that are natural, but you can reduce the effect. So I'm going to go ahead, clear this away. Go ahead, clear this away. Clear all this stuff away. Not all of it, but a lot. You're going to be like, oh no, you're getting rid of all this stuff. What are you doing? It's alright. Don't worry about it. I'll show you in a second. Let's get rid of the big stuff. This too. And right here. Okay. Let's get rid of these two. Doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Let's get rid of these. Oops. Okay. It's gone, but what we're going to do is we're simply going to lower the opacity. See, at 0% it comes back. We're going to do like 30%. That way, it's still there, but it's much lighter. So it's not just taking over the whole image, but it's still there on her. That's good. That is perfect. This image is basically almost done. Now, I'm gonna duplicate, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna merge these again and then duplicate. Now, what I'm gonna do is Go to filter, Liquify. Now what I'm going to do while Liquify is, first I'm going to scroll up. I want to make her face a little smaller, make her chin smaller, make these eyes a little bigger. I'm going to rotate this one like that and this one like that. The nose I'm going to make a little tiny smaller and make her bottom lip bigger, top lip bigger, right there. In fact, make the nose a little bigger again, just right there. Okay. I'm going to go to this tool, and I don't really use this for this part, it's just easier to just click. I'm going to make her hair bigger, more fuller. I'm going to bring her shoulder down. I'm going to bring her neck closer in. I'm going to bring this up and closer. And then on this side, I'm just clicking away, making her hair bigger. We're gonna continue to make this hair bigger. My battery died. Bring this shoulder down with the hair. Zoom out and see how we look. Okay, I'm gonna bring this in. Just make her shoulder smaller. Oops. Bring that back. Okay. Bring this over and in to make her waist appear smaller. And then even her hand we're going to shrink. Just a hunch. Let me zoom in and see. Make these fingers smaller. Again, the little details make the difference. It's good. That looks good. Let's make this hair a little bigger. Bring this section out. Bring this down. And then bring her forehead down just slightly. Amazing. Zoom out. Let's see. See the difference? See that, guys? Before, after. Beautiful. Alright, now we're gonna merge a layer again. I keep saying duplicate. Then we're gonna go to our curves, and we're gonna bring this down a bit. Bring that there. Right there. See, we added a little bit more darkness. Actually, no, hold on. That's it, but her skin right there, there it is, that's it. That's what we're looking for. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. This photo's done. I lied. Her shoulder's not exactly round. Oops. Shoulder is not round. Let's round it out. Might even reduce the size. Make her shoulder a little smaller. That's it. Done. Looks good to me. Let's do this, merge all the layers, and then we save the photo. I'm going to save it right to the desktop as new edits. Now we're going to put it on Facebook updates. Oops. I revisited this photo for a YouTube tutorial.